during the book reading of that book, The President Who Never Ruled, that was on the Saturday 10th of December 2016 at African Hub Center in Lagos.
Yes.
You spoke largely, you are one of the guest speakers at that book reading seminar, and you spoke largely about the engagement of Chief MKO Abiola and his political lineage and his political intention for Nigeria. But most especially, you look at the book critically and you said the book, even though it has achieved its purpose 80%, that is book written by his son, Abdul Abiola, but you said there are still other undertones that need to be highlighted. So, looking at the book, The President Who Never Ruled, do you think that was the 100% account of the philosophy of late Chief MKO Abiola?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm so grateful to the son, Jamiu, for writing that book, because he has done justice to the assumption of character of who Abiola was. Abiola was somehow called one of the elitists that is responsible for the rot in Nigeria. Was allegedly, and I'm using that word allegedly, or should I say wrongfully, assumed.
You agree it was wrongfully assumed?
Oh, it was assumed. And what Biodo did that made me so proud was that he tried to correct that wrong assumption. Yes, his father became an elite, but he became an elite rightfully so from his own creating, not from being a surrogate.
What do you mean by being
a surrogate? Not being a surrogate of the ruling system.
A lot of people see him as that. They believe they gave him the contract, they believe government supported him and all that.
The book revealed the background of who MKO Abiola was.
Okay.
He came from a very humble background. And Abiola sweated hard for every penny he has ever made. He educated himself. He was a prodigy, extremely smart, broke many records in many examinations he took as an accountant. And by virtue of his excellence, he was employed by this multinational corporation, ITT, to be their spokesperson and representative in this part of the world. And by and large, the whole story, he became an elitist because of that position, because he worked hard to revamp ITT that was dying. ITT was thinking of pulling out of Nigeria
at the time,
because they had done contracts with the government of Nigeria. The government of Nigeria had refused to pay, and they saw the whole project as a waste until the man Abiola was appointed their representative, and he told them how he brought out a plan that rescued the company and made the company not only successful in Nigeria, he made it successful throughout Africa. And that's where he made his fortune from. Of course, his interaction with the military came through the same company, because that company he represented supplied many of the technical gadgets that the military needed. So you cannot be supplying military gadgetry and not have military connections. So Abiola saw all of these young officers who were young, who now became leaders and heads of states of the future. So people saw him as part and parcel. People did not understand how their relationship or how this became. So the perception in that book analysis, I remember very well.
Yes, sir.
I now said that even that perception was exploded, or magnified by FELA and Anikulapo.
Yes, I was coming to that because let me tell you this. Why we're shocked about the whole thing was that your father in his lifetime, the great Aka Basorun, was a lawyer to FELA and MKO Abiola. Your father was totally unbiased. He was a very accurate legal representative to a fellow who was supposed to be a sworn enemy to MKO Abiola, and he was also a lawyer to Segun Abiola, who was supposed to be a political enemy of FELA and Kuti. But let me now come here. At the book, you went further to give an update, because FELA came to sing International Tip, which is one of the it's one of the biggest creative work that is still very much with us till today, and it summarized Abiola and Obasanjo as criminals who used multinational to mop up the economic lifespan of the country, and who stole a lot of money. Today, everybody sees MKO as international thief. So, but now you went further to say, okay, there was a problem beyond the creation of international thief, and that's why we're here today and say, okay, what do you think what do you think led to the problem between MKO and FELA? And that's why.
Well, let me first clarify this. Yes, my father was a socialist.
Oh, yes. Okay, sir.
He had socialist leanings. He came from a school of thought at that time that it was through socialism that Africans can benefit.
Get equity?
Can actually guess and then get benefit from the scourge of the past of colonialism. That through socialism, where people first, that all the resources of a nation state would be shared amongst its populace first, was because of the background of that scourge of pain of slavery and colonialism. So of course, it was in the midst of the likes of Nkrumah, Sokotori, in which he worked with very, very closely. Now, as FELA's lawyer, it was natural for him to represent FELA, because FELA was seen as a masses leader.
Of course.
As somebody who was speaking on behalf of the masses.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, he was a prophet.
Yeah, a prophet of
the people.
Yeah.
Now, at that time, when my father represented FELA, and when his house got burnt, they came to my house. I remember FELA was under house arrest. FELA then left and came to our house in Ilesomi, and the military came to arrest him because they got note that he left under house arrest. That was after they burnt Kalakuta.
That's the old Kalakuta.
The old Kalakuta. I remember vividly then when they came, and my father came out and to meet the police and the army and said, well, I'm his lawyer. He has a legal right to come and see his lawyer. The right to a counsel is constitutionally guaranteed, and the right to bail, which he got. So he has a right to see, he has a right to counsel, he has a right to see his lawyer, despite the fact that he's on bail. He has not violated his bail requirements. So the army people said, you know what, Mr. Lawyer, you and FELA enter the Black Maria. So they arrested the two of them. Eventually they released my father on that same day. But that story I will never forget. That it was imprinted into my head.
You were there and
yes,
you saw it happen live.
Now, the issue of MKO Abiola came into play, like I tried to allude, which I alluded to in the book reading, Jamiu's book reading of the president that never ruled. What I saw, because I had all the documents, FELA's documents.
Yeah, because a lot of people were shocked.
The documents, the DECA agreement, his contract with DECA.
Your revelation it's through a lot of.
I had so many documents that I saw in my father's office. After they had passed, I went to his office chambers, I took out all his books, and I was going through many of them. And in there, I saw a file that was FELA's file. So I saw all the letters between FELA and MKO Abiola, personal letters that MKO Abiola, if I had not given, last year I handed it over to the family.
We should have a copy.
Well, I told them to give credit to the family. Okay. That from the files of the Aka Basorun, that these letters, original contract from DECA, original letter, handwritten by MKO Abiola, and the reply FELA sent to Abiola. Because what had happened, politically, is that Abiola went into politics. He was in MPN.
Yep.
And of course, the government of
Shagari.
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 At that time, that FELA was saying he was anti-establishment, whether it is Shagari or whoever was in government. FELA, any government in power was FELA's albatross.
Yes, Ajib.
Yes. And of course, when the cry and the popularity of FELA became world acclaimed, and FELA was now getting to that world stage, there was many interests who saw that is what he professed and what he was saying had rippled effect on them negatively, and they were looking for a way to shut him down. They were looking for a legal way to shut him down because he was already rising to stardom.
It was an explosion.
Yes. So what had happened was that the record company that had signed FELA,
yes, sir,
was bought by MKO Abiola.
Okay, MKO Abiola bought FELA's
Nigeria.
Nigeria. That's the company that promotes FELA's music.
Yes.
That FELA is signed on.
Yes. So when Abiola became the major shareholder, he now had the opportunity to direct the affairs of FELA, who is an agent,
just an artist,
yes, for Decca. So I remember when the song, a popular song, I believe it was Army Arrangement, came out, and they didn't want it to be released. And FELA and Abiola was trying to kill that this would not be allowed, that he cannot allow this is anti-government. And FELA, in his handwriting, which I gave to the children of Anikulapo Kuti, FELA replied him and said, "You can't tell me shit, man, excuse my French." And he said, "You cannot tell me what to write. I'm an artist." And he told Abiola that he can go to hell with his Decca or whatever. Abiola said, "I will finish you musically." So their fight started from that, and Abiola became FELA's arch enemy for life. That's how FELA Anikulapo took up upon himself that in every way he could, he would also ruin MKO Abiola. Reputation. So the issue of international thief became resonant in his mind at that time. Not that Abiola was a thief. No, he never stole.
A lot of people see him as a thief.
Oh, he never did.
A lot of people saw him as a thief.
He represented a multinational company. He represented ITT. He got contracts to do specific things for the military, eventually for the nation, which was Nitel lines and all these other things. No, sorry, not Nitel lines, and telephone lines.
The telephone lines.
Yes.
Telephone lines.
So that was the genesis of the hatred that FELA had for, and then labeled MKO ITT,
a global thief.
A global thief. Yeah. And people that stuck for so long, and now you saw the connection, somehow manufacture the connection between the rot, the elitism, the military, and MKO are all together and one, which was not true. So the book Jamil wrote actually shed facts and light into the sincerity of Abiola, in exonerating Abiola, not ever to have been in politics and not to have gotten any patronage through politics or the military. The only patronage he got was from ITT through contract with the military or possibly the Nigerian government.
So he was a third party.
So he was a third party that was just a businessman like anybody else.
A lucky one.
Yes, and until he fought, I won't say lucky, he worked hard for it because he was a brilliant man and he found his way to be the best student at ITT because they had many exams and he won. He was the best student in Nigeria, best student in Africa. They went to England to do the same exam. He was the best student in the whole of England overall. And he became the only candidate to represent ITT. He never knew it was even ITT
in Africa
until he got to America for the interview.
Yeah, for the final leg of the interview.
Yes, so the book revealed this aspect of MKO Abiola. And now Abiola, when he was so young, at the age of maybe 8 or 10, started his own wood business to sell charcoal and wood, and how he used this business eventually to sponsor himself to school.
Become a musician?
Yes, become a musician, take care of his parents. It was an amazing story.
And you think that story is not biased?
Oh, of course it was not biased. It's all factual, because it speaks for itself. And this was the justice that Jami was able to do for the memory of his father. It was a very courageous thing and enviable thing to do. However, coming back to the aspect of what we are celebrating MKO for, MKO Abiola for June 12, what he represented then was somebody who stood for change. And in the light of all the pressure, all the threat, all the wealth he had, amazing wealth, that he would lose all of these things, including his life, he never withered. He never showed fear. He was so resolute that the mandate that was reposed on him by the people of Nigeria would never be taken for granted. That he was hell-bent that he had a plan to change Nigeria for good. And that amazed so many people. That what a character. A man that we saw that was a multi-billionaire, opulence, had everything going for him. And was ready in a heartbeat to throw all those things away just to hold on to the mandate. So people did not find that character, or never thought of that character in an MKO. They expected that kind of character from a socialist who had been in the trenches for long. Somebody like FELA, Gani, Taisholari was doing that. They would not be surprised. But for an Abiola,
crossing into the social line,
crossing into that socialist extremist line. It was an extremism that was amazing. That is why the galvanization of the support became resounding. That this is not about Abiola anymore. It's about a movement. It's about a belief that people cannot just say our future will be on hold at their own merit. That they cannot tell us that Nigeria have spoken and the will of Nigeria must prevail. That's what Abiola stood for. So people realize this and galvanize behind him, and that's what made June 12 what it is today. That we're celebrating 25 years of June 12 because a man took leadership in saying no. He was bribed. There was money that was owed to him by the federal government. They said we're going to release the $600 million that was owed. He said, I'm not interested in $600 million. I'm interested in what is rightfully the ownership of Nigerians, their mandate, to make choices freely in a representative of their choice. So and that is what we are going back today.
Between the two great men, who do you think is history favoring most now? FELA has suddenly emerged to be a global icon, especially in the area of creative arts and music. Then MKO Abiola has also become a national political icon and an inspiration to political.
I will just jump in there. There is no issue of whether one person is greater
Are you
or
sure,
not.
sir? Yeah, FELA and MKO.
I will tell you categorically.
Yes, sir.
FELA Anikulapo Kuti has been the greatest Nigerian we have ever produced.
That's honest.
For many. Oh yes. I am so close to MKO Abiola. Chief MKO, blessed memory, calls me Segun Aka Basorun. Yes. That is what Segun Aka Basorun. That's how he addresses me. He always laughs when he sees me. Because I argue with him a lot.
That's credible.
Now, he was an amazing individual as well. I've categorically put FELA on a different pedestal. That is the greatest Nigerian we ever produced of repute. That represents the hard truth about who we are. Now, MKO Abiola was an enigma. He was so uniquely different from the average person you will ever meet.
Terms of intellect?
Once you meet him, whether intellect, his approach, his friendliness, his jovial mannerisms, or his kindness to others, people he knows nothing from whereabout. His magnanimous
magnanimity.
It is so amazing that it shocks people to date if you go back memory lane. However, he had made history for himself by becoming the sacrificial lamb for Nigeria.
For democracy?
For democracy.
For democracy in Nigeria?
Nigerian democracy.
Okay, sir.
That is so hard to find.
Peculiar.
For he will have lived the
Peculiar
life.
measure.
He will have lived the life of a billionaire.
Forever.
He was the Donald Trump of our time.
Yeah.
Not political power, but in richness.
Business.
In business.
In empire building.
It was amazing. He did not have to go into politics. And when he had problem, all he had to do was to have withdrawn. He aligned with the progressive and rebuilt. He gave the progressive something to latch onto when there was nothing left for the progressives. That is why today it is the progressives that are shouting for June 12. Because June 12 became the last thing to hold on to when everything was almost lost. And he gave that sacrifice unequivocally. It never will die.
Sacrifice is comfort.
It never, throughout that process, he never showed any sign of relentlessness. He was resolute.
Do you believe that he was killed?
And, oh yes, we knew he was killed after sipping the tea, that it was poison tea. We knew it was poison. However, that is to show sacrifice, selflessness. So those are greatnesses that we look for in people.
FELA?
That is what defines, eventually defines a personality. So what defined FELA was similar. I have said he's the greatest Nigerian we ever produced. But similarly, sacrifice is what defined him. Selflessness. He was never himself. FELA came from a more prominent home than MKO Abiola. Yes,
there are some Kutis.
There are some Kutis.
The educationists.
Yes.
Yes, of balance.
He came from a prominent home.
They were in the
so
then.
He left that elitist tendency. He put it aside and sacrificed, identified with the progressive, the populists. FELA was using his Range Rover then to carry firewood and allowing ordinary Nigerians to see that it is not the car that defines you. A car is just a machine.
So it is not what you drive that defines you, it's what drives you.
That's why people will tell you, he would give you all the degree he has, all the chieftaincy he has. It's to intimidate you, to make you believe you have met one of the greatest men you ever meet in the world. It's a facade. They are the most useless individual you can ever meet. When people come and tell you, I am this, I got that, he is not trying to allow you to see him internally. He only wants to present externally the things that will intimidate you. That is it.
The man Aka Basorun was a lawyer to the problem. And I remember that Aka Basorun tried to rectify the animosity between
He did.
So
Oh God, my memory has evaded me. There was a song. Oh, was that Federal Palace Hotel?
Okay, sir.
At the release of FELA's what song? Oh God, there was a song FELA was releasing, and my father invited MKO Abiola, and he came.
Was it that MKO didn't know he was being invited with enemies?
Oh no, he invited because my father invited. He came, and it was that day my father joined the two hands to shake their hands.
You mean FELA and
Anikulapo and MKO Abiola. That day my father invited Abiola. Was on the mic. It was moderating the event for that day. I think was giving the speech. He gave the opening speech, and he said he wanted to use the opportunity to this animosity between FELA and Abiola, who ironically came from the same Egba extract, who are both Egba extract, that these two people eventually he brought them together and they shook hands.
The Egba brothers.
Yes, the Egba, of course.
There's this perception. Is it true that they both attended BHS and that FELA Ransom Kuti's father was the principal?
I'm not sure. If I remember, I think he went to BBS.
Okay.
BBHS.
BBHS. Before.
BBHS, I think as he did.
Shortly.
Yes.
But yes. I didn't know who was senior between him and
oh yeah, I think not. I think it was FELA.
Okay.
But I think they were maybe not. I
not
think they were age mates. I think they were.
Yeah.
They were the same.
Peer group.
Yes, the same generation. Yes, but it was true. Many people, of course, went through that school where FELA's father was the principal, and Kuti was the principal, and of course, the mother too was also an educationist.
I learned there was a time FELA was being hauled into jail by the military, and your father was somehow following them, trying to just get the picture. And when FELA looked back, FELA said, "Hey, bon, that
was FELA.
That was FELA saying that.
It was Dr. Beko that told me that story.
Okay, right, Beko Ransom Kuti.
Yes, Dr. Beko said to me that, Segun, I never did politics. I did not know about activism. It was your father that made me an activist. My father came to me and said, Beko, no. You have to do this thing. Don't you know your name? You come from a line of activism. You come from a line of this. He said, I was just talking to your father that day because I know your father very well, being FELA's lawyer.
Yes.
Where I know him, I've interacted.
And he's FELA's brother.
So
brother.
He was then managing. He was the manager then. So he said, your father said, no. You have to leave. You have been in a session, medical session. You are the chairman. You have to use it. So that's how I got involved. That it was the insistence of your father that I got involved in this struggle. He said, I will tell you that story of your father. He said, when we were going to take the coffin, when we were carrying the coffin to the head of state, he said, we were carrying the coffin to the head of state.
Yeah.
FELA did the coffin.
Okay, to represent the head of state. Okay.
To represent the coffin of his mother was killed.
Yeah.
So they were taking the coffin to the dam barracks.
To protest.
He wanted to go and drop the coffin. An empty coffin. Of course, the mother was not in the coffin. But said they killed my mama. So on that day, he was going to protest and take the coffin to the Dodam barracks to go and leave. He said, my father was not supposed to follow them on the protest. It was when somehow FELA looked back. They were already in the procession.
In the mood.
They were in the procession, they were going. And FELA looked at and saw me and saw my father. And FELA said, Doctor, hey, look at Egbo. Our lawyer is following us. If they arrest us, who's going to bring us? So Doctor ran quickly to my father and said, FELA just said, you have to go back. Who is going to bail us? These people who arrest us, so we are ready to go to jail. Just go back, Egbo. Don't follow us. Say, that is how committed your father was in this struggle. And that's how the respect, the dedication that he had for him when he came and told him that, Beko, you must come in and be part of those that will champion the struggle. And he's so happy today he did it.
That's Beko. He died happy too.
Oh, it was
that he was part of the democratic struggle.
He was a man I personally loved because of his simplicity. He doesn't want anything. Beko was so simple. He was well to do.
Yeah, of course.
He was not a poor man.
Yep.
But he lived a very simple, ordinary life. He didn't know what to do with wealth. An amazing personality. He didn't know what to do with wealth. So these are the kind of leaders that you cannot bribe. You cannot go to with any form of graft. He will just look at you. You know, if primary school students want to invite Beko to a garden, you will be there at least half an hour before the time.
Punctuality.
Very always extremely punctual. And so humble. So humble and brave. So you don't know he's so brave
until you
see, you realize that he will not budge. You will be laughing, but you will not budge. Dr. Beko will not budge. You just be laughing and say, well, I understand what you're saying, but you know, this is my position. Amazing human being. We don't have them anymore.
I know.
People now talk from both sides of their mouth.
I was going to ask
because they're psychophancy.
Yes.
They say our leader, they are so afraid to tell people the truth.
No, but
because they believe they will not be able to live
afterwards.
Because if they say so against the Godfather, then you are finished. But there was you before a Godfather, and there will always be you after a Godfather. People don't get this. These are the moral values that we are not inculcating in today's children. I'm not telling them that as far as you are successful, any which means you live in a big house, you have a big capable society will respect you. And they are doing that.
I know.
It's because society don't show distastefulness to such people that they have encouraged everybody to want to become wealthy by any means necessary.
Looking at the Abiola family, he was a great man. Just like your father, I've asked you a question about the civil liberty legacy and how it has dwindled. Looking at the Abiola family, you are close to all of them, to Kola, to Deji Abiola, Jamiu Abiola, Lekon.
Yes. We grew up together.
Yeah, and you are there born in those days. So now, looking
except for Kola. Kola is older than me.
Kola is older than me. Okay, now, looking at that Abiola family, do you think that family, we now have an Abiola family without an Abiola? Because a lot of people feel that somebody should have come up to be as big as Abiola, either in politics or in business or in diplomacy or whatever. But do you believe that the family is not properly celebrated by Nigerians and is not properly remunerated by the political institution?
Well, it would be, I don't want to be contradictory to myself. Nobody owes anybody anything. I believe that. But yourself, you owe yourself whatever you want to become. But the sacrifice Abiola has made, it needs to be honored and recognized for it. It needs to be accorded that privilege of being a president. That would be the best honor as a former president of Nigeria that I can give. 1. 2. I will never blame the kids, the siblings, and the family of Abiola if they have not rising, if they have not been able to rise to the occasion of who their father, to the sagacity of their father. Because you see, those children have been traumatized, and they are yet to recover from the shock. It was a terrible shock and awakening for them. Their life completely changed overnight. As a matter of fact, a lot of the children were finding it hard then to see themselves as truly Nigerians, because they believe Nigeria betrayed them and their father. So it is expected that they would find it hard to play politics or to enter the political fray, because they have not only mixed feelings about it, they have a fear, a phobia, that the process is there to suck and maim. Because that is the way they saw the politics of what happened to their father. So I will not blame the children of Abiola for abstaining from political interplay. Rightfully so, but I know that the younger, much younger ones will one day rise up.
Go over it?
Yes.
Go over the fear?
Go over
the shock?
The shock.
Okay.
That trauma.
Okay.
And resonate those values that we can hold on to Abiola for. You know, and I can say this as well. I would like to mention that I saw Segun Anikulapo Kuti not too long ago at a gathering now, and I was shocked. What was coming out, what he was spitting.
In terms of intellect?
What I saw Segun, how he is developing.
Intellectually?
Yes, I was very impressed. And I said there's a future. And we are seeing the son of a legend standing up to step into the big shoes that the father left behind. Of course, his older brother Femi has been doing the same.
In a different way.
Well, he's part of the older generation. Femi is a couple of years older than me. So Segun is much, much younger. To see that from him was more significant because it gave hope that there's a younger generation who see activism, fearlessness, not necessarily confrontation, but organizing as a tool to bring about change. That's what that guy is doing now, so I'm impressed. I hope many more of the children of personalities like Mohammed Fawemi, who is trailblazing in his own way, despite his the challenges rather that he has. It is amazing that he's overcoming those pains to dedicate his time to the struggle. He's my brother, I love him because people don't understand or appreciate how much pain Mohammed Fahimi goes through on a daily basis. It is excruciating. But the love he has for this country is unparalleled. It gives him the drive and the need to see why he must overcome those excruciating pain of his disability. He goes through so many pills on a daily to therapy to keep himself informed, and he's still so dedicated to fighting for good change through activism. It's amazing. I see him as somebody to emulate. He really inspires me. So we are hoping to see more of that.
Even Abiola family.
Yes. Be it Anikulapo, Abiola, Beko. Of course, we see that in Nike and Nido. We're going to see that in younger generations. The children are growing up. They are all growing up. And we're going to see more activism.